Chris Charlton for WhereDoesGodzillaPoop.com, and this is Deus Ex The Fall, a game which, if nothing else, wins the award for best slash funniest announcement of the year, if nothing else. If you don't know the story behind this one, Square Enix were sort of very publicly trumpeting the fact there was going to be a new Deus Ex game in the sort of main line of the series or whatnot, and it was going to be called Deus Ex The Fall, and they were putting this out on Twitter, and everybody got very excited for something they could play on their new consoles or their spangly PCs or whatnot. And then they had a announcement video made just before E3 where a couple of chaps from Square Enix were sitting on a couch saying, "We're about to show you a live demo of the new Deus Ex right now," and they pulled out an iPad, which was fantastic because you could feel just the hate of so many people radiating through the YouTube comments, even before anything happened. It was a wonderful turn of information, I guess. So I'm not the kind of type to go, to complain about something just because it's on iOS. I decided to give it a fair shot. And if you look here, well, there's some fantastic character models that they're trying desperately to show off. What they've done with this is been very public about the fact that they've said, well, hey, this isn't something that's been dumbed down for iOS. This isn't some sort of weird puzzle game. This isn't some sort of endless runner. It isn't an on-rail shooter. It is kind of a quote-unquote true Deus Ex experience, just kind of squished down to match the size of the device and bite-sized experiences or whatnot. And yeah, I mean, it is fairly true to what Deus Ex is, with a few alterations here or there. So one such alteration is the fact that there's in-game shops and in-app purchases for everything. It's not essential by any means, and the game in itself is reasonably priced. It's 600 yen, which I think is $7 or something like that. Feel free to correct me. Which is fairly expensive as compared to a lot of iOS games. But yeah, I mean, it's not essential in any way to do any in-app purchase stuff. If you do, then it would be to sort of buy augmentations and level up your guy faster than would be normal just playing through the game and earning XP and playing New Game Plus and this sort of thing. There's also in-app purchase when it comes to credits, and this stuff is really poorly communicated to the player, and I think that's a little bit irritating and a little bit galling. It's something where I thought at first I was happily spending credits on tranquilizer darts because I kind of want to go for a non-lethal playthrough, and there's one of the tutorials earlier on, it tells you how to buy this stuff, and you go, oh, okay, I'll go through buy as much of this as I can, and then you realize that same pool of credits that you have is also something that you will need to buy certain quest items as well. So that gets kind of irritating. There was one bit I burned through all of my money, and then I had to do a couple of side quests and beat up a few people just so I could scrounge enough credits to get something that I needed, which kind of took me a little bit out of my way. But I'm kind of on my way here on a main quest. Basically, I'm not too far into the game, just to sort of set up. I'm in need. Me and my sort of mysterious female partner are in need of anti-rejection drugs for our augmentations here. I can use the right side of the screen to look around and sort of mouse look kind of thing and get dizzy. And I can use the left side of the screen to walk, which is kind of a traditional setup. You might, word of warning, you can customize the HUD, and you might, if you're like me, want to move these fire buttons in the left and right of the screen here, because it's really easy just to graze those by accident and shoot someone you don't want to. You can also, a concession to touch devices, you can double tap anywhere on the screen and you'll walk in that direction. So I can do that, and I'm being pulled up here.
Looks like you're backing some serious hardware. You must be an agent. Government? Military?
You can see the persuasion level here. I've managed to buy the augmentation that will, level up and choose the augmentation that lets me convince people if they are susceptible to convincing, and this person is not. But let's see, let's try and be aggressive for this fella.
People who ask those types of questions don't usually end up living long, healthy lives.
Whoa, easy, killer. I got an attack dog on my hands. Haha. I need help from an outside agent. Someone like you. I'll make it worth your time.
Haha. You can see, it's kind of funny presentationally. I think like the environments look really cool, although, yeah, I mean, I think the Deus Ex Human Revolution, that kind of art style kind of fits a sort of lower poly count that's on the iPhone here quite well. Even though these environments aren't massively expensive, they do look nice. But the models themselves, when they're in conversation, look kind of silly, especially when the voice acting is staggeringly awful in this game.
You've got my attention. What do you want?
I'm working on a case involving illegal rising distribution in Panama, and I think I got my man, the kingpin.
Uh-oh.
His name is Alvarez Araujo.
Oh no.
A scumbag. Somehow, he's got a line on the stuff and is selling large quantities of the drug in the slums.
And you want to put...
We're pretty tolerant of low-level crime.
So what you...
Nothing like that.
Basically, this is the sort of typical Deus Ex conundrum. I am in need of Rising at the moment, and the Dr. Alvarez Araujo is the guy that's helping me get hold of a supply. But I could kind of cash out on my morals here and try and take him down, or provide enough evidence to take him down and get me a lot of cash and the drugs at the same time. And I'm a bit of a bastard, so even though I'm trying for a non-lethal playthrough, I think that doesn't mean that I'm not a bit of a
I'll do it, but if I get you the evidence you need, you better not stiff me.
You got my word.
So there you go. I can also choose to stab or punch the guy if I want, but I'm not going to do that here. So yeah, I mean, that's opened up a side quest. There's also your mainline quests and whatnot. So there's plenty to do. Apparently, there's about 6 hours of content here if you just blitz through it, which is a fair, it's fairly generous, especially for something on this format. Whether it's all perfectly paced for the iPhone, I'm not so sure. It seems like that dialogue interaction I went through, stuff like that and cutscenes can take quite a long time, where a lot of these games are kind of about, not necessarily about instant gratification in terms of a lack of depth, but just in terms of you kind of want these things to get to the point, because this tends to be something that really it's not very applicable for sort of playing while you're traveling. It's something that you should be playing on a couch, but at that point maybe it's better just to play on a console. I get a really strong impression that this originally was indeed meant to be DLC for Human Revolution, just the fact that it's so strongly based on Human Revolution, and I suspect at some point that DLC got canned and turned into this as a project, because they kind of thought, yeah, hey, more people will buy it this way because we can hype it up as, hey, Deus Ex on your iOS device, and I suppose it's worked in my case, so what do I know. So let's get going here and see if I can, I'll see if I can tackle this side quest first. There's lots of fuzz everywhere.
Every once in a while, we get a call to escort some poor Pipucho in 98,000.
Just really awful voice acting, and especially when you get, perhaps we'll see some of the news announcements in here where everybody's doing the I'm a lady in the future and everything bores me because this is the future kind of voice. It's embarrassing. Loading. Quite a bit of loading in this game as well. But it does save at every turn, and you can save anywhere here. The issue there is that you can only have one save at a time in this game, and where Deus Ex is usually it's kind of a game about having 3 or 4 or 5 different saves and trying to figure out the different ways through each level. So that kind of restricts a little bit of your experimentation. Let's draw through here. Do you want to travel to the underground clinic? Wonderful. That's the actual name of the clinic. Welcome to the underground clinic with Dr. What's his name from The Simpsons?
Exciting news in the medical field today. Researchers working for the VersaLife Corporation announced that they have found a method of curing AIDS in mice using microscopic nanite robots.
We've discovered a cure for AIDS. This is tedious because I'm from the future. Yeah. Well, maybe it's just me. It's kind of not a big fan of the voice acting here. So yes, I'm gonna sell out this guy who is now my friend. Perhaps let's have a chat to him and be terribly two-faced about it before we continue.
What's wrong, English? You have a strange look about your face.
Oh! Ooh, so I can warn the guy off. Perhaps I will perform a super double secret cross here. Or I can just say, no worries, and pocket my reward here. Interesting thing here, I'm playing on an iPhone which doesn't have that much in the way of screen real estate, and it's really hard to touch these dialogue choices. These are incredibly small. So like anything with virtual buttons, it's best to play on an iPad if you've got one. But it's really difficult to touch that dismiss button. So I suppose I'll do the good bad guy thing and warn this guy off.
Alvarez, you should know. The police are after you.
Oh, the police are.
So there's a little bit of kind of agency to what you're doing, and that's pretty cool and very Deus
Build a
Ex-ish.
case against you and bust your doors down.
Rayos, did you agree to betray Alvarez?
I came here to warn you. Your time's up.
It's just
You need to pack up and get out of town before
Gestures
they
they
haul you
do
in.
in these
I
conversations.
appreciate the warning.
It's really terrible.
In my line of work, when things get too hot, it's time to move on. But these people in the slums, they'll have no one to turn to now.
Oh, so warn Alvarez about the investigation, return to the police investigator. But I managed to gain a praxis kit so I can level up my die here. Yeah, let's see what I've got. So augmentations, some of them are passive, which means they're always there, and some of them are active, and active augmentations and consumables are down the bottom here. So let's see, what can I do? Something that's a cheap thing. Can't afford cloaking. Armor, I don't really need. Let's boost my arms up. There you go. So yeah, I only have one active augment here, which is my ability to see enemies through walls, which, you know, it won't do anything much now. But I just scroll down here on the left along with like the energy bars and the alcohol that I do for health. If you look at the top, just like in Human Revolution, when you use your active orgs or you perform takedowns, then it drains the energy at the top of the screen in these battery cells here. And you know, you can you can eat energy bars, and that will recharge that faster if you're in a rush. Yeah, so I've done, I guess, the right thing in not selling out the good doctor. So let's see, I'll quickly run back and see what the police says. So, I mean, again, it's this, you know, I mean, it's this kind of, the back and forth as well. It's true of something that works a lot better sat at home playing on the couch or playing in bed than it does necessarily playing when you're out and about. And it's nice to sort of be able to play something like this when you're on, you know, when you're on the toilet or when you're sort of sat in bed before you go to sleep. And it's nice to have this in a handheld experience. It's just something that I really feel would be, you know, it would be better off played with a controller in my book. Right, so let's quickly visit the policeman here. I mean, it's like a lot of these. It's I don't know. It's an issue with a lot of sort of first-person shooters that have popped up on the iPhone, and this isn't. I mean, Deus Ex isn't necessarily a shooter. You don't really play Deus Ex because you like the shooting in it. But because of its nature as a first-person game, it is kind of very reliant on more precise input than than an iPhone's touchscreen can necessarily muster. And hopefully, in just a second, once I finish this side quest, I'll be able to get to a little bit of combat and be able to show where the game kind of really falls down. Alright, fella.
Well, did you get the evidence?
You know.
Alvarez skipped town, and he didn't leave any evidence.
You blew it! Months of work down the drain! Get the hell out of here before I give you a demonstration in police brutality! Fucking hogs!
Oh, that's not very nice. I've failed that task. That's a little dong of failure there. And I'll go with a hung head and go back to the mainline quest here, where I'm trying to get hold of the very drugs that I almost ratted out the doctor for. Let's hopefully hope things aren't too far away. Loading. Which way next? Deus Ex the Fall. This way? Oh, phew. Hello? Will do. Okay, let's see what's up here. And again, just so much kind of loading, and I mean, yeah, I can expect that, I can get that, I can understand that, but it's not, it's not something that you want when you're just picking up a phone for about 10 minutes. And again, like, I'm a huge supporter of deep games on iOS, and I was a huge, I'm a huge fan of the iOS version of XCOM, but depth and immediacy are two different things, and you can have depth without sacrificing immediacy in my eyes. That hot drug that everybody's talking about, everybody loves that drug. No, it's all being sold in a toilet by this man. Hello.
You must be Cobra.
That depends. Who the hell are you?
Camila Cardoso sent me. That should be good enough.
Yeah, she told me you'd be coming. Said you're going into Skull's territory. Which means you're either one tough son of a bitch, or you've got a dent in that metal head of yours.
Let's see. Arrogant individual who treats people like commodity will offer assistance to those who serve his needs.
Maybe both. Take enough hits and after a while you stop counting. So, what have you got for me?
First of all, call me curious, but why would someone want to go into gang territory if he...
The slum gangs are pushing some new drug.
You want some
Let's just say I have a personal stake in the outcome.
Yeah, I might be able to help you. But...
Okay.
What kind of...
The Skulls are run by a...
So, you want me to do...
No, nothing.
I have a
I'll tell you everything you want to know about the skulls, so you'll be... You
better...
And great performance
Okay.
capture there.
I'll keep an eye out
Brilliant
for Diego's
gestures.
files. Where does he keep them?
Let's use pheromones.
Doc said you were a gun runner.
I keep my gear stashed, to avoid attention.
So yeah, a lot of these long dialogue trees, which is fine, but I kind of want to get to where I'm going.
So,
Yeah, I guess they think it sounds...
and people are...
Hell, they run half the city.
Tell me...
What I heard?
Zach?
He's not all bad.
Let's leave out here.
I think I have...
Whoa!
Aye, cool.
Oh, no!
They're coming for you, pendejo. We're shutting your ass down.
Nah, shit. I got a jet. These creeps will smoke me. You should get the hell out of here, man.
I don't want to get smoked by any creeps. Oh, fantastic. Yes, we're now in some sort of fighting or sneaking situation. I'm trying to get out of here, get through this game without killing people. But just for you, the viewer's benefit, we'll see something here. So if I touch this white button at the bottom of the screen, then I can get stuck into cover, which really isn't the most reliable thing. I can switch in and out of cover. But if I want to quickly dash out, sometimes a swipe downward to get out of cover works, and sometimes it kind of doesn't. It's not the most reliable of gestures in the world.
Come out wherever you
I can
are.
target someone by just tapping them, and that will bring kind of the auto aim to effect. But it's not the most reliable of
Listen, we just want to talk.
things.
Ain't nothing
Where'd
bad
it go?
gonna happen.
Okay. It's not the most reliable of systems, especially when you're using trank darts like me here. For instance, if I shoot him from here, well, I've just wasted that. I guess I'm kind of too far away, but there we go. I can use my augmentation to get a punch, and then yes, I can take him down. One thing that makes stealth a little bit easier in this game than in the main console game is that eventually the bodies disappear, so you're not worried about kind of corpses being found and this sort of thing. So it kind of becomes a systematic deal of luring people, misdirecting someone one way, and then just decking them. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 is coming maybe. Oh no. Can I shoot him from here? No. Too far away. But there you go. That's him passed out nicely. Yeah, it's not awful. It's just kind of clumsy, and again, it serves really well. Really slow movement, because then it doesn't really matter if you kind of fumble with your thumbs or if you get stuck on cover, which happens quite a lot. Then it's not too much of a fuss. Let's take him down. Off. Draw him out there. You. And I'll take all your money as well. And your guns, even though I have no need for them. I think I've managed to save the day. So I'm going to reward myself with whatever I find in this rubbish bin, which is nothing. How disappointing. Got one more dude. Oh, I nearly got spotted there. I nearly got spotted. It's exciting, isn't it? Let's see where it is. Where's that? Hurrah! There we go. I have won the day, and I haven't managed to level up. Yeah, so that seems like a decent enough point to stop things there. Yeah, it sounds like I'm a little bit down on it, and I'm not. I'm enjoying the Deus Ex-ishness of it, I think. But it's just all of this. When it does come down to it, it's not something that fits on a small screen to me. It's something that's there's big screen experiences and small screen experiences, and Deus Ex is a big screen experience to me. It's kind of proved that, hey, they can put Deus Ex on an iPhone, or an iPad for that matter, but the question is really whether they should put Deus Ex on an iPhone. I think that's more a pertinent question than simply whether they can or whether they can't. Yeah, as I say, it feels like something that got chopped out of Human Revolution, or was a kind of lost expansion. And frankly, it wouldn't surprise me all that much if we saw this kind of content come to PC or come to proper consoles with better graphics at some point. But if you kind of want more Deus Ex and you want it on the go, then this is a decent place to start. So yeah, thanks for watching. My name's been Chris Charlton. Take care of yourself and each other, and for more on this game and much more, head on over to wheredoesgodzillapoop.com. Thanks, bye.